Yes. Let's
Hello,
do it again.
everyone, and welcome to this very new GM Web3 dedicated to MultiversX, like every Wednesday on X, on YouTube, and on Twitch. And I'm very happy to be with you this morning with my co-host, my dear Arno. Hello, Arno. Hello, Arno, without an H. And welcome. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks, my friend. And now we hear you, so I think it's better for this morning.
Yeah, it will help a bit.
Just a bit.
I will cut afterwards. I missed you last Wednesday. I'm very happy to have you back today. Everything's all right for you?
Yes, full disclosure. Apparently, I'm starting to have migraines. So last week, I was doing medical exams, etc., etc. So yeah, but today it's good. For 2 days, I've had my head clear of any type of pain, so it's great.
Okay, I hope it's going to last this way. I know how hurtful it can be. Um, many things to tell you guys. First of all, I'd like to thank the partner of this show. Two partners. First of all, Hatom. What is Hatom? Hatom is a platform that lets you store your crypto safely and grow them through simple strategies that generate passive income. With Arno and many other columnists in the show, we explained you the different strategies and the different security mechanisms before, so you understand the protocol 100%. And recently, they launched the first native stablecoin on MultiversX that offers you incomparable returns. Like with some strategies, you can expect up to three-digit annual returns. I think it's less now, but it's anyway very interesting and very competitive. Um, Compared to other DeFi protocols. So if you want to know more about it, visit Atom Networks website. You can also tag Arno, for example, on X. If you have any question, you can join their Telegram channel. And yeah, try to get your financial freedom as soon as possible. And yeah, you can find all their useful links on the YouTube video description, but also on the podcast description. And they are offering with our other sponsor $30 like every Wednesday in crypto, of course. So all you have to do is to retweet the link of the space and to comment something. The two best, and I don't know, the two funniest comment will be chosen by the end of the day. And yeah, I will send you a DM to send you your prize. I will post it in the comment section. I thank you again, Hatem, for this, and EAPS, the second sponsor. I will talk about them later during the show. So we have a very interesting program today. First of all, we'll have a tech update with Andrei Marinica, who is a team lead at MultiversX. It's been a while we haven't had a team member of MultiversX on the show, so I'm very happy to have him this morning. Tech update. I will explain what is it in a few seconds. In 30 minutes ish, we'll receive Lukas from xAlliance, who will talk about the last progress of the initiative. And that in 1 hour and 15 minutes, we'll receive three winners of the AI Megawave Hackathon that happened on MultiversX a few days ago. Three winners who will tell us about their story, about their product, and how it happened and why they won. So there will be Sylla, El Pulpo, and Joaquim in the show. So that's the program. Anytime, of course, you can ask your question in the comment section. We'll try to answer. And before we start, we count on you to subscribe, to put a like, to comment, and to give us some strength for the space on YouTube, on Twitch, and on X, depending on which social you're watching us. And you can find the replay on YouTube and on every podcast platforms. GM Essen. So before we start and before we receive our first guest, I have a question for you, Arno, from last week, but it's for you today. When USH airdrop, do you have any information about that? I promised to Jimbox I would ask the question before everything today?
It's a fair question to ask. We have communicated about the fact we would give more information after USH is launched and stabilized. And for now, we don't have more to say than this. So it is the next big item that is coming. And we are going to provide you with some information. Just for now, I don't have more information than this, as the team is fully focused on making sure that USH remains stable and the more organically as possible. So here's my answer. It
Okay.
might not be the one that you'd like, but it is the only one I have to give today.
Yeah, it's more or less the information I had before. So I'm sure you will communicate when it's ready. Hatam released an update about redemption mechanism, I think, on the front to make it maybe easier to understand and to follow. If
And to
you
participate.
Sorry, yeah, to participate.
Yes, there is a
Do you
dashboard.
want to take 1 minute, maybe, to talk about this update on the protocol?
Yes, well, can I?
Sure, you can share your screen.
I think it will be.
Please make it very, very fast.
Yeah, but
Very important.
I'll make it in 1 minute.
Perfect.
So, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so here I am on the Atom protocol. As you can see on the left, I am in the USH tab. And so right now in the USH tab, you can see, and that's new, on top here, you have, so I'm up there next to connect. You have a new toggle button that you can open that is the redemption dashboard. So you see, right now it says that redemptions are off, but you can come in here and actually see that when redemptions will be on, you can see here the top 10 addresses with the positions that can be redeemed. You can see the maximum redeemable amount. It's 282 EGLDs. And so here you can participate. So meaning you can help USH remain stable by repaying the debt and the loan of those positions. So you can see here, you can repay 286 USH, here 4.7K. So you just come in here, you put the number of EGLD that you have to provide. And once you will, then the next time the redemptions will be open, you will be able to redeem, you will profit from it, you will repay the sum loans from those positions, and those positions will also profit from it, a bit less than you, but they will profit from it. So that's how redemption work. We've created this dashboard so it's super easy for anyone to participate, and you don't need to have to do smart contract calls, etc. It's a way to stabilize USH and also make some money on top of it.
Thank you very much, Arno. So let's welcome our first. We have a question. Is this automated by bot and arbitrage actors?
So basically, what you do is that you will put the EGLD, and yes, behind you have the smart contracts that are going to take the EGLD that you provide, buy USH, you repay USH loan, burn the USH, seize the collateral matching the USH loan repaid. So all this is automated. Basically, what you do is provide EGLD, all the rest is automated.
Thank you very much. So let's welcome our first guest, very awaited, Andrei Marinica. Hello, Andrei. Welcome.
Hey, how are you guys? Nice to be here. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, awesome. I'm from the office. Behind me is the real thing. We live in a very scenic town
You have
in
snow everywhere.
I'm actually at the office, so this is
Yeah,
where
but you
everything's
can see
starting.
snow on the roofs.
Yeah. It's been a cold. It's been a cold start of the week, so it's been snowing actually last night. No,
When
actually, yeah, 2 nights ago it's been snowing and still on. Yeah, it's a very nice place, nice nature.
Where are you?
I'm in CBO. I'm at the office or
You-
at our headquarters.
Okay.
Yeah, this is where it all started. So,
Thank you very much for accepting my invitation, Andrei. To give a bit of context, it often comes out in discussion with members of the community that the technical advances in multiverse are often beyond the reach of non-techies. So that's why I've asked you to appear regularly on the show to help explain these advances so that everyone can understand and potentially share these advances. So thank you again for
you're
accepting
welcome.
my invitation. I think
Thanks for
we
inviting me.
so if you agree, I will let you the mic and I will let us explain what are, I don't know, the last updates, take updates of the protocol. And if we have any question, because I am not a tech. Ardo is not a tech. So if there is anything that we don't understand clearly, we will dare to interrupt you, so we are sure that we understand, because if we understand, actually I think the audience will, and that's the most important. So Andrei,
Yeah,
you have the mic.
please do. Yeah. So tech is a big pie. You have the fun bits and you have the boring bits. Often we have this thing every week. We post an update of all the fun and boring bits because we want to keep people in the loop. It's normal that not everybody will understand everything because we don't understand everything. I don't understand everything that my colleagues are doing all the time. It's not that it's impossible to understand. It's just that we don't have enough bandwidth to do so. And so when I talk about tech at MultiversX, I like to talk about more of the fun bits or more about the idea or the direction of what we're trying to do. Because then, of course, there's always going to be a lot of boring bits underneath. And that's why we're here. That's our job, is to deal with the boring bits. The fun bits are as follows. So first of all, we have, I'm, by the way, a bit of by myself. I've been at MultiversX since almost the beginning, so since late 2018. I'm the SDK guy. I also contributed some of the work to the VM, but most of what I've done is the Rust framework, the spacecraft SDK as we call it now. I've been there from the beginning. I built it, and I'm proud to say that it's a nice product. I mean, we've had pretty good feedback from developers trying to use it. We have a very fast VM. We really try to push it on the performance from the very beginning, and some of the decisions we've made up front turned out to be really good. The way we're working with smart contracts.
Andrei,
Yes, please, Arno. Yeah.
yeah, I'm going to interrupt you when I hear you say things so that you can clarify them
Yeah.
for the audience. So you say we have a very fast VM,
Yeah.
and often people, when they hear this, they think of block time, and they
Yeah.
think
No.
of,
Yeah.
like,
Okay.
we have a very
Yeah.
fast VM, but our transactions, they take 7 seconds, sometimes up to 30 seconds when it's cross-chart. Can you explain us what is a fast VM
Yeah. Of
versus fast
course.
transactions?
Yeah. So what we do as VM developers is try to make it execute as fast as possible. Now, this does not immediately translate into block time. First of all, block time is determined by the protocol. It's, let's say, a political decision and also a technological one, but it's on protocol level. And you might have heard a lot of talking about us trying to reduce the block time, to reduce the finality, to the sub-second finality. That's what my colleagues are doing. It's a pretty daunting task because nobody's ever done this in a sharded environment, and also with as many nodes as we do. But it's happening. So hopefully this
So what
year,
is a fast
yeah.
VM?
A fast VM is a VM that So, and there's two more things. So another thing that people are maybe not so aware of is also what machines you are running the protocol on, because you can choose to be running the same protocol on more powerful machines, and then of course you will be able to execute a bit more, and then you can also run it on less powerful machines. Running it on more powerful machines is nice because you can have a lot more data, a lot more stuff, a lot more things executed in a single block. But it hurts decentralization because it makes it more difficult for validators to keep those powerful machines. And there are protocols who went all in on the powerful machines. They were like, okay, hardware is improving, let's go full on. Like Solana is a good example. It's a valid decision. They can process a lot because they have these powerful machines, but it's very expensive to be a validator on Solana. And we did not want to do this. We wanted to keep the MultiversX protocol accessible to everybody. Like if you want to run your own servers in your home, or you should be able to do that.
I'm sorry, but you know what, Andrei, you will come back to speak about tech specificities, but we are out of time. We only have 25 minutes for the tech update.
Yeah. So just to sum it up, a fast VM is able to execute a lot on slower machines, on less powerful machines, as if you would, as if a slower VM would do the same on more powerful machines. So we're able to lower the validator requirements for that, like that, and that's why we're very, very, very interested in that, because we want this performance. We want this democratization of validators. So yeah, that's the thing with the fast VM. That is one of the things we did. The other thing, which I'm very happy we did, and we're still working to improve it, is the ESDT protocol. The native tokens. The reason why we chose native tokens was because on most blockchains, tokens are smart contracts, but that goes very poorly with sharding. So in order to have it sharding and very fast transactions of tokens, we decided to make them native, and it seems to have been a very good choice. And actually, one of the updates that we had early this year in January, we are trying to also make EGLD be the same as the ESDT. So we want to make all assets, all tokens work the same on the protocol. So it's very easy to transfer anything. And it's very easy to build smart contracts that work the same way with EGLD, with ESDTs, with anything. And
just to be sure, so at the moment, EGLD is not an ESDT token?
Yeah, it's special. It's the older one because we didn't have ESDTs from the beginning. So it works a bit more like, it works similar in principle, but the mechanisms are a little different. And my dream at some point is to have actually no distinction between them. I try to minimize the distinctions in the framework. So for a smart contract developer, they look pretty much the same. But we would need probably another protocol update to make them be exactly the same. My colleagues from the protocol said, yeah, they're striving to that, but right now there's other priorities, the sub-second finality and all that. But after we have that, we might have at some point EGLD, merge with the others.
What are the main differences between EGLD and the other ESDTs? If you have any example that we can...
Right now, we're transferring ESDTs via some special functions. There's some transfer functions that you have to call, and we're transferring them. Like we call that function, and that will cause a transfer to happen across. Whereas EGLD is baked sort of a bit deeper into the transaction metadata. And I would like to have would be nice to have at some point all of the token transfers like that. You don't see it in the Explorer usually, because the Explorer is nice and it's hiding the technical complexities from you. But there are slight differences. So, but in spirit they're the same. So.
Okay. I didn't know. It's interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Right. So this is with the ESDTs. And another very nice thing about ESDTs is that they are very good at encoding all kinds of resources. So they're not just tokens and they're not just NFTs. You can make a case that ESDTs are a great tool to transfer data and lock data and ensure there's ownership over data and there's no racing conditions. So we are going to experiment a little bit more probably in the next few months on using ESDTs as like a synchronization mechanism between shards, between contracts, and so on. So there's a lot on that front probably coming later next year.
So sorry.
Yeah, no. Please.
Now I'm going to piss GRM if I ask this question.
Okay, go ahead, my friend. Go ahead.
Okay, so what you're saying is that you're going to use ESDT as a vessel to transfer data.
Yeah.
That's super smart.
Yeah.
Okay, so especially once you have subsequent finality, etc., it means that this vessel is going to be super effective, super smart.
Yeah, you want parts of your assets to move around, and we have to experiment with that. Of course, once you have subsecond finality, it's all faster, but you can do it now. In principle, it's the patterns that we lack or that we have not explored enough yet. Now, another thing that that's really close to my heart, and I really wanted to see this through, and we kind of managed this winter, was I wanted to have our framework, our solution, not only be for smart contracts, but be a full solution for services and for front end. And we did some prototyping on that. It works. We managed to create a syntax that works on-chain and off-chain as well. So when a developer is writing a smart contract, of course, they will be describing transactions like, okay, send this transaction with this sort of ESDT, with this data, and so on, to this account. You can format the same transaction the same way in a smart contract, say, in a unit test, in an integration test. But then you can use the same syntax, and you can go on a DevNet and launch the same transaction on the DevNet. And then you can spin up Chain Simulator. Chain Simulator is a very cool technology that my colleagues have built. It's basically a toy. It's not a toy. It's a full blockchain, but it runs on your machine. So if you want to test anything, you just spin up your own blockchain on your machine, and you start sending transactions as you would normally to any blockchain. You have the API, you have everything. You have the full stack. You don't have an Explorer yet, but you have pretty much everything. And we have a very nice... So the framework allows you to send transactions, to get the results, do everything as you would with a normal interaction on a blockchain. And what's also very nice that everything is in Rust, everything in the same framework. This is very, very important for us because let's say you want to start a project, you're looking for a developer. It's much nicer to have one developer to do everything, to do the smart contract, and then do some of the services, and then also have some of the maintenance, like the deploying or upgrading of contracts, all done from the same environment, rather than have, let's say, 3 developers. One is really good with Rust and smart contracts, one is really good with front end and web, and maybe one is a good Python developer who does the maintenance for you. So always much nicer to be able at least to have that full stack guy who can do everything from the same sort of tool set. So that was a thing that I was very interested in, and I'm very happy that we actually managed to pull it off. People, I feel, are not yet so aware of it, so there's still a lot of people using different tooling, but in fact you can do everything right now from a single sort of tool set. So that was a big one. And even more importantly, and actually that's popped up recently, like the past few weeks, as a research direction for us. So there's this thing with Web3. Web3 is still very, very immature, like field. Blockchains are awesome. Blockchains are permissionless and resistant to censorship and so on. But the truth is that most users, most of us, even myself, we very rarely interact with the blockchain directly. Usually interact with the blockchain via a third-party web application. And everything that you do for the blockchain is that you sign a transaction, which, of course, if you can properly understand what you're signing, is great. If you don't properly understand what you're signing, then there's a lot of trust put in those third parties, in those web intermediaries. And the experience, I feel, is a lot closer to Web 2 for most people than like Web 2 with money than an authentic Web 3 permissionless decentralized thing. And so what we're trying to see is how can we decentralize some of the web stuff, or maybe even if not decentralized, but at least have some mechanisms in place for checking what goes on, checking that your front end is not lying to you, that the transactions you're signing is what you think it does, and so on. And this is also an important reason why we've done all this research in trying to get Rust and WebAssembly deployed in all these kinds of environment. We managed to, we're using WebAssembly for our smart contracts. That's a very cool technology that allows, for who doesn't know, that allows running the same code on any machine. It was originally intended for the web, and you can use it on the web. We are using on a blockchain, but we said, well, why not also build for the web as well? And we actually managed to do that this winter. We managed to compile like contract code, but we put it on the front end. And this is a nice stepping stone into having a more integrated like developer and user experience, where you have the same kind of code that's running on the backend and on the blockchain, and also on the front end. And we'll be trying to see if we can put some of this front end on chain as well, or at least some hash of the front end on chain, so that you can be sure that when you interact with a front end, there's a signature there. There's something there. That you don't have to trust. That there's some check that what you're interacting with is the genuine thing, is the proper thing, and you've not been scammed with some fake website or whatnot. So I'm very excited about that. There's not a lot in the space, but yeah,
we can see how enthusiastic you are when you speak
I'm always
about
like that.
tech, and it's really pleasant to listen to you speaking about tech stuff. And I understood everything. I don't know for you, Arno, but it was very understandable. Maybe do you want to add anything, and maybe can you, I don't know, explain how the tech team is behaving when there is like a crisis, during
Oh, yeah.
you know what I mean, when
Yeah, I know what you mean. It usually involves a call from Lucian at 2 a.m. That happened like twice.
Okay, can you okay.
When you're at night in bed and you're receiving a phone call from Lucian at 2 a.m., shit has really hit the fan. It only happened twice. Yeah. Well, let's hope it doesn't happen again. And then you stay up all night with everybody online, and hopefully you can help. Or if you don't help, you're still in freeze mode or whatever. Yeah, we had that. So last time that happened was fortunately long ago already. It was the hack with the transfers from the callback and whatnot. I think it's 2 or 3 years ago. I don't remember exactly. Yeah. What was very nice then, it's not only that the team reacted very well, but the whole community reacted very well. The MultiversX protocol is pretty decentralized. It's decentralized enough that coordinating a lot of validators is not a trivial task. And despite that, and we can't upgrade the protocol. So in case there's an emergency protocol upgrade, we can't do it ourselves, because you need at least 50% of the validators. But what was really impressive back then, and I hope the case is still now. I don't want us to find out, but I hope that there's the case still now. I remember I got a phone call at 2 a.m. from Lucian, who was actually he was after his birthday party, so he was he was coming from a party, and yeah, it was rough on him. For him it was even rougher. I had slept, but he had partied that night. And the thing is, until I think 5 o'clock in the morning, so in a few hours, the solution was out, and at 7 o'clock, actually, most of our community was online, and we managed to update the protocol very fast. It was really impressive. And so not only we were awake, but a lot of the community was out there with us. Yeah. Again, I hope it doesn't happen again, but
it will for sure. And that's
not necessarily. Not necessarily. Not if we do our job right.
Okay.
That's well. There are techniques. To ensure that code never breaks. So maybe we're not at that level right now. I'm obsessed with security. Maybe we don't have all those techniques on right now. We have a lot of best practices. We have a lot of experience behind us, which makes it pretty hard for things to go wrong, and a lot of fail safes. But there are actually ways that we are researching into making the protocol bulletproof. We have, myself and our partners, we are investing in formal models and in fuzzers and so on. So there's a lot of work being done in ensuring the protocol works fine. And
how many are you in the tech team?
Oh, the tech team is a very broad term, and we're pretty decentralized. So I don't know for sure. I think the whole tech, all the tech employees at MultiversX, I think I got like 50, but or 70. I'm not sure. The VM and smart contract team is like 20 people, but like it's actually a lot of products. So what people don't realize, we're actually spread pretty thin among products. For instance, on the framework is me and two of my colleagues. So we're the only ones doing the framework. And from time to time, one or two more guys from the contracts come and help. Then on the VM is just Robert and another colleague of mine, and I help from some time, which is so full-time VM is only one guy, Laurentiu, which is not a lot because the VM is a big monster. Fortunately, has not seen so much development lately, but still, And then we have a lot of people investing in contracts and
okay,
yeah, and
great.
And then the protocol, of course, there's a lot of more guys. And then of course you have front end and services, but we're not that many actually. So
thank you. Andrei, you know what? We could stay together for one more hour. Definitely. I really love the vibe, It's really a pleasure to have you. Was it your first show, your first space? Or
no, 2 weeks ago I was with DB Crypto, and I've had several more in the past. Been to conferences and stuff. I'm not new to this.
For people who don't know, Andrei on a stage at physical events is always a pleasure and a show.
Oh yeah, I'm a very physical guy. I like being physical. I like physically filling up the stage. I like talking with my body. So yeah.
Yeah.
I hope we're gonna have more of those. So
yeah.
Yeah. Definitely will invite you very soon, because you know what, the tech update was very cool, but I think the community will want to know more about you. So let's schedule an interview in the coming weeks, so we can know more about you, your background, what you do on MultiversX, what's your ambition, what's your vision of the blockchain ecosystem. I'm sure it will be very insightful. So I will send you a DM for this, and thank you again for accepting our invitation for this morning. All the best for you. We'll receive a Lukas. Maybe you want to say hi.
Hey, what's up, Andrei? Nice to see you.
Hey, what's up? Long time no see. Yeah.
Yeah, I missed you in Sibiu, right? Didn't get to see you, but it looks like you're there right now. So
I'm there right now.
Yeah.
I'm a bit isolated. I have a very tiny baby at home, trying to protect from germs for another month or so. But I will definitely be in the office more often this
Congratulations.
year. So. Thank you.
Is it your first time being a
Yeah.
Amazing.
What's his name? Her name?
Her, Clara.
Clara. Very good.
Yeah.
Very
she's very fierce. She's very fierce.
She can be
fierce baby. Yeah.
Andrei, we're gonna get you free. Thank you very much again, and chat very soon.
See you soon.
All the best. Bye. Lukas, how are you?
I'm all right. How are you guys? What's going on?
Everything's fine. It's been a long time on GM Web3, so it was time, I think, to get some news about xAlliance. So I saw you had you made a lot of things this last week. I listed a few things. Of course, I will let you the mic just after, but I saw you had recruited a young intern from Nigeria. You have organized and supported events in Nigeria, UK, Brazil, even in Turkey, I saw on Twitter. You've organized quests to offer xAlliance merch, to create content for the different initiatives. You've supported the hackathon, where we will be welcome 3 of the winners later on. You've supported a number of projects on Twitter by relaying their news. You've even hosted a space to talk about women in Web3. So in short, you've done a lot of things. So can you tell us a bit about all of this? What's the biggest thing that you're proud of? What's I don't know what's the, because xAlliance is 1 year ago ish, I think. So what's the stock of this, and what's your vision for the future? I'll let you the mic to tell us what you want to tell us about xAlliance progress.
Yeah, well, thank you. There's a lot to go over, even in what you just touched on there. I think the best way, and so xAlliance launched sometime in mid-May, right? So we still have a couple months or so until our anniversary. And that's actually probably something I should start thinking about, or we should start thinking about on what to do for that. But it's been very busy with so many other things that it's hard to focus, even 2 months ahead at the moment. Yeah, I mean, a lot of growth, as you were saying. I think like one of the more significant things, or how we really measure success, is like how we bring in new people into the ecosystem. And that's through various initiatives and things we're trying to push, like supporting people in the ecosystem and then bringing in new ones. And we've had a lot of focus on like IRL events. You mentioned London, you mentioned Nigeria. We're doing one in Brazil next week, I believe. And that's going to be a more common thing as well. We're about to come out with a program of sorts that focuses on that specifically as well. So you can expect some more stuff in the US, in Australia, in the Asias, hopefully. We're planning on expanding to India in various forms. So there's like a lot of, let's say, development things going on at the moment, specifically like outreach to new communities that have not discovered MVX yet, but that stand to gain a lot by discovering it. And I think a prime example, as you were saying, is Irene, our intern that is from Nigeria. This is also like one way of supporting great builders within the ecosystem. We're bringing new people into the ecosystem. It's like really working with them, sort of like one-on-one for 3 months, train them, and then send them out into the world to find the new generation of talent. And that's really, I think, one of the proudest moments for me personally was Irene hosting that event by herself, like not even 2 months after joining us and learning about MVX, and then already teaching it and seeing the enthusiasm on the ground. I shared some stuff internally with xAlliance, but there's some of the people attending the event, like posting about it on LinkedIn, how it changed their perspective and things like that. And it's really, I think, what I'm most passionate about with this entire blockchain Web3 space has never been.
Can you explain
Yeah.
why this country, what were these guys already blockchain users before, maybe other blockchain, and now are they building anything on MultiversX, or do they plan to, or it's just about adoption, the different tools and protocols on MultiversX?
You mean this event specifically, the first event that we had?
I mean in Nigeria, because it's this country is well known to be one of the biggest African blockchain users in Africa. So how was the link was made? And these guys were there user of other blockchain before, or it was non-blockchain users?
Some people had mined Dr. X before, and I think some other things. Irene had some contact with, like, through events, but most. So we made it an exclusive event. This one in particular, by focusing on fewer people so they could actually better understand what this was about. This was a technical university. So a lot of engineering students and cybersecurity students and things like that, but they hadn't really used blockchain before. Most of them, I would say a good like 70% of them. Some again like had some airdrop farming or stuff like that, maybe attended something, saw something, but a lot of them were quite fresh, and had never really interacted with it before. As you were saying correctly, Nigeria is super interesting because it is a very young population. It's one where like fewer than 50% at the moment of the population has access to the internet, which is a huge issue, of course, when we're talking about adoption for anything, including cryptocurrencies and Web3. But it's also a place where that technology specifically can solve real problems. Unlike, again, I wrote a whole blog post about it. Like if we think of the Western world, like what does blockchain technology really bring? It's maybe like incremental improvements of over things that we already have. But in countries like that, it really snap solves a bunch of things. So I think it's a very, very interesting country and market to focus on, because we have real problems that we can provide real solutions for, and we have great talent coming out there that is very hungry for opportunity, and just needs education and programs that can really engage them and teach them something so they can build something that is valuable for their communities. I think that's a real prime example, and like seeing that event and how well it worked out, it really hyped me up on that plan.
Okay, very, very interesting. What else do you want to share about xAlliance?
Well, you tell me. I think the hackathon is probably something we should touch on, just to celebrate that the builders. We had our first own. We sponsored an entire track for a protocol that we helped release, the Warps protocol, which is a very, very cool way of actually bringing blockchain actions into the real world by just skipping the sort of like complication steps around it. You just see a link, you click a link. As long as you have a wallet, you can just execute blockchain actions directly. Of course, this is super new and needs development, and so the track that we sponsored for this hackathon was specifically to encourage protocol upgrades and new developments there, making it easier to create warps for non-devs, and like we saw some great winners coming out of that I think sort of significantly expand the capabilities of it. And again, it's an open source protocol, something that we want everybody to be able to build on, something we think is extremely valuable when we think of AI agents interacting with people on the internet, that like the agent needs a wallet to really meaningfully interact with the world, and it needs the capability of creating a way for users, humans, to engage with it, and something like that is warps, right? Like something where you just the agent can create a link, and a user on the internet, wherever they are, can just click the link, and the blockchain gets more and more abstracted into the background. And that's just, I think, super exciting, and really proud of that, like both bringing that protocol, or helping bring that protocol to life. Obviously always great to see that innovation coming from xAlliance members, and then accelerating the process and progress through grants and in particular this hackathon prize. And yeah, great to see those results.
About the members, I saw something very strange. So you'll tell me. You added 2 new members, Julian and El Pulpo, and they were on GM Web3 last week, both of them. So is there an are you so
It's
maybe
the Web3,
Lucas,
GM Web3 to
this is
xAlliance pipeline.
GRM asking for getting in.
No. It's just very fun. So I think next week you will add Andrei in xAlliance. So you add our.
Oh no, we like team members aren't really. We try to keep it clean. Julian, actually, I've been wanting to recruit
It's a
for
joke. of course, they both deserve to be part of it. It was just fun
Yeah.
because it was our guest of last week, of course.
I wasn't actually aware of that, but that's
Okay.
cool.
You should watch Julian interview last week. Many people from the community loved to listen to him about his background, his story around UI and UX on Elrond and MultiversX. So if you haven't, feel free to watch the replay of the interview with the Julian. He's a really great guy. I think I know you know it, but during this interview you can see it even more.
Yeah, Julian is interesting, right? Because he was the person that actually designed all of the xAlliance, let's say, brand identity. But this was when he was still head of design at MVX. And so, like, now that he's gone independent, I was like, okay, great, time to get him in. And Pulpo, of course, just received, and this is another great example of like how xAlliance tries to sort of oh, Pulpo is here. What's up?
He's coming to start it.
like how we try to help builders in the ecosystem, right? Like we met at NFT Paris for the first time. He had just received a grant for his token tool that he's developing, and then it was pretty clear to me that he was going to win the hackathon. So all of these boxes were really ticked, and yeah. So it's just really about that. There's also at least 2 more people that we're bringing in through the hackathon that haven't been announced. And so like hackathon's actually great. Like I'll also say something about that really quickly because I think it's significant in terms of like seeing activity and maintaining activity in the ecosystem at the moment. We have the growth games, we have the hackathons. We're going to come out with something super exciting and interesting in the next week.
I have a problem.
You're going to ask me to tell you what it is, but I won't.
No, I mean, the hackathon are there, of course, to create activity, to entertain, to give opportunities to builders to develop new features, new product, and so on. Okay, great. But hackathon is also normally thought to bring new people in the ecosystem. Of course, you can disagree, Arno, but hackathon...
I'm disagreeing, and not just me. We've seen many now research papers regarding hackathons, and they're actually not that great of a tool to bring new people in. You have in, especially in Web3, you have mercenaries that are touring Web3 to capture hackathon grants, and they don't stick. It's proven, like those projects coming from mercenaries,
okay,
actually
it's 2 different things. I mean, you attract those mercenaries who are not in the ecosystem,
and
so
they don't stay.
It's not the point. It's another point. Do
Okay.
they stay? Do they come? So my point is, hackathon can bring new people that we don't know, people that we discover our ecosystem, our code, our technical specificities, and so on. I'm not talking about how many of them are staying and so on. I know, unfortunately, they don't stay for many reasons. Anyway, so on the Mega Wave Hackathon, I don't have the full list of the winners, neither of the participants. So it's more a question than a fact, I will say. Did you attract people that we don't know already? Because all the winners, and we love them, Sylla, Pulpo, Misha, Joaquim, and so many others I can mention. But were there any people that we don't know already who are attracted by the prize pool, by the event? So that's my question. Maybe Lukas...
The short answer is yes. I mean, if you go through the winner list, you will see that I think about at least a third, I think closer to half of the people were new builders. There's specifically a few that came through efforts that I was just mentioning that the foundation is running through Ryzen, both in Turkey and in India. So even just that outreach brought, I think, at least 2 winning teams. I just had a nice conversation with a guy who's a Microsoft engineer Not Mihai, who also won the Warps track. Amazing contribution there, by the way. Shout out to him from XOXNO. But a different one who is building something called Pilot X or X Pilot. I forget.
Oh, you just posted about that X Pilot. I saw it. I did not dig. I don't know what is it, but I saw
It's basically, so it just automates building a little, or it helps builders get into the MVX repository and build things much more quickly. It's directly integrated into GitHub, the Copilot there, and so you can just knock out some good code based specifically on the most up-to-date documentation. So anyways, like it's a very technical sort of contribution, but really great. He actually, cool story, came through the winter challenge, which I'm not even sure if you're aware of it, but the foundation, and this is going to repeat in the spring also, ran like a competition, like write some code, get some EGLD essentially, and that's something we're doing again in the spring. And my point earlier, like so hackathon winners, yes, there were a lot of new ones. There were, by the way, talking of mercenaries and all of that, Arno, there were way over 100 submissions to the hackathon. Of those, most of them were disqualified, sometimes because they were mercenaries, sometimes because they didn't even care enough to like integrate MVX. The really careless ones, it's fun. Like I'm just going through internship applications also, and it's like the kind of stuff you see is just like it's so shameless. But anyways,
and you decided to, I think it was 37 participant that you approved.
Exactly, that qualified on the grounds. But of those 100, like a lot were disqualified because it was clear it's like a copy paste thing, and that obviously just doesn't add any value to the ecosystem, and they're not going to stay. Why would we give them money, right? So that's certainly something. But I think of the winners, you'll see that there were quite a few that are new to the ecosystem. And again, I was just mentioning the XPilot guy. He came through a winter coding challenge, and then like kind of started learning MVX, and his first time trying out Web3. And now he basically built a tool to help himself code better, faster, etc. And is, has been developing that and shared it during the hackathon. So I think it's a great thing. And as you saw, like the Twitter page even is already verified. He just literally invested his own hackathon winnings into the product, into the Twitter account, into spreading the word for it. So yeah, and so that's just something I think is really cool. He also was one of the people that took up the offering for the Hack Clinic, our little like help people ship thing. So it's just like great. We see some new engaged people. I think Warps have brought in quite a few people. And yeah, sorry, Arno.
Yeah, I think I wasn't. My point wasn't to say that hackathon are not a way to attract, exterior people coming from outside the ecosystem, because obviously it works sometimes. But I see it as a brilliant way to also steer development power towards a direction that makes sense with where the foundation and the ecosystem wants to go, and reward talented people who are, of course, outside, and that's great, but also inside. And for years in MultiversX, we have had talented developers. Some of them haven't managed to transition into building a company that, in a company way of seeing things, like productized, go to market, etc. They haven't managed to do this. They are talented engineers, and if you steer towards direction, they're capable of shipping great things. And through the hackathon, you can reward those loyal developers, give them actual money, and help them help all the ecosystem in one go. And I think this has been done in a brilliant way.
Yeah, and I really want to emphasize that point because it's really great. And I was making a point, I was going to talk about this earlier a little bit. It's like it's really important that this activity is there and it's sustained, not just for developer retention, as Arno was saying, but to bring in new people. Like, so I was just in Turkey, I was just in Romania, I was just in wherever else I was. But like, it's really, before there wasn't really a place to point people to. And with growth games, with the upcoming spring challenge, with the hackathon, it's just like, oh, how do I get started? Well, go here. Like, there's these things, and it's so important when you do this outreach to really have people connect with something immediately. This is also something we're bringing out, relaunching another product that has been dormant for a bit, in collaboration with some xAlliance members, that will help this to, like, basically a one-stop shop for developers, new developers, where it's not just like documentation and tools, but it also is finding teams and finding like small grants. Just like, okay, well, I'm coding this little thing, and we're also going to reward activity for what's it called, open source contribution. So there's a lot of stuff that I think is now in place in quite a short time, that wasn't there before, and it's so important that we have it.
Thank you very much for this. I have a last question for you. We recently talked about an ambassador program that was envisaged by MultiversX a year and a half ago, I remember, but I think never came to reality. So we see that some other ecosystem, like Avalanche, for example, has done something with hundreds of ambassadors all around the world to federate, to create initiative, to attend events, to wear the colors of the blockchain, to network, and so on. And I am pretty sure this is something that can be very valuable for the ecosystem. And yeah, in order to put MultiversX at the center of the crypto map. So is it something that xAlliance and or MultiversX Foundation will work on this last, I don't know, weeks or month, Lukas?
Okay, do you know something? But maybe let's just wait another hour or day or something. But there might be something. There might be something.
Anything?
There might be something in the works.
Okay, so just to be clear for the audience, and Lukas and Arno, I want you to believe me. I have absolutely no information about anything. No, you know what? When I know something, I admit. Okay, I don't know anything about this. But you know what? Where my question is from? It's pretty simple. A few days ago, like 10 or 50 days ago, I hosted a show about Avalanche ecosystem. I did the same for
This is Team One or something they're doing there, right?
Sorry?
Team One, I think, is the relaunch that they did.
I don't know the name, but yeah. I hosted a show about Avalanche with two French contributors of the ecosystem, and we spoke about this ambassador. And at an event in France, in Auxerre, a few weeks ago, I met people from Polkadot, Avalanche, and so on. And these guys have pretty much the same problem as MultiversX. The team is good, but adoption and marketing is not always perfect. They have way more money than MultiversX, of course, but the problem are almost the same. And we spoke about this ambassador program, and I remembered about the one that were planned by MultiversX 1.5 years ago. And so that's why I think it was an appropriate question for today for you, Lukas. So if I licked or if I gave the impression I knew anything, it's not the case.
No. I wasn't actually thinking that.
Okay. But just so you answer anyway.
To answer the question,
is about to get out of the oven.
Yeah, it's something that we've been looking for and pushing for with xAlliance since May, and so there's a lot of sort of moving pieces, and I also think like a lot of the ambassador programs that are out there have not been like super strong, because again, like, how do you find the right people to really put out the right message, and how do you train them properly? How do you maintain that? Is it even possible? Like, let's say these hundreds of ambassadors, that's just very, very difficult. In one way, of course, you can think of xAlliance already as a sort of unofficial ambassador program, but we are let's say putting things in place to make it a little bit more official, and start that fairly soon.
Okay, so this is on the pipe. I see, like, you know what, guys? I don't know what. It's funny because you guys look like you know things about this. Arno, look at his face. He looks so guilty.
Well, there are some things shared with xAlliance members that aren't shared. You know, giving like it's a great coordination tool, and again, this is something I think is so important to emphasize. Like, if we're talking, let's say, general progress of xAlliance, I think there's some things where personally, like, I'm not super there's still a lot to improve. Like, there's still things where like people could be running with their own projects within xAlliance or funded by xAlliance more so, like just members doing their own thing, like let's say proper DAO stuff. But in terms of like a general coordination tool and feedback tool, it's been so incredibly valuable, I think. And like the foundation is really you know, seeing the value of that as well. And again, like if you just look at all of the stuff that's just coming out of it, and it's not just content, it's really like tangible developments in this space. I think it's been really great to see, and that's, I'm super excited to just like have more people join and like have more people learn about, and like ambassadors is just one thing, but there's so many things that we can really push, let's say from the bottom up, that aren't possible for the foundation to really accelerate, because there's so many things going on, and it's also difficult to really understand specifically the problems that you might have on the ground. So I think it's yeah, it's really great.
I have a last question for you, Lukas. Where mustache? Because you know I have mine now, but you don't have yours anymore. So
Yeah.
what's wrong with mustache? True.
This is a very good question, very valid question. What happened was I shaved in the shower the other day, and because it was like all messy, and I shaved off too much, like just shaved into it, and then was like, oh shit, what do I do? And so yeah, it's coming back very soon on the next iteration.
You know what? My it's the same for me, but the inverse. I mean, I had a beard with a pretty thin beard, but a beard anyway, and I shaved it without the sabot. I don't know how to say in English. You know, the thing that makes the beard. You
Yeah.
know, and so I decided to shave everything, but I said, okay, let's keep the mustache, and I actually, so it's an accident too. With different,
the other way around. Yeah. No, I tried to trim it nicely, but then I you know, I didn't look in the mirror, and so that
clean.
that
It's
messed it up.
clean. Thank you. Thank you very much, Lukas, for coming and answering our question. Before you leave, I want to welcome our next
Hackathon winners.
guest of
See
the
them.
day. So as you can see, we are a lot today. So Lukas, maybe you want to say a final word to Joaquim, Sylla, and El Pulpo.
I want to say congratulations, amazing work. It was a pleasure seeing you guys present. Super happy that you won. Congratulations. I can't wait to see what comes out of it. I think there's some really interesting developments for each of you, actually, that are there, from like the AI and NPC wallet abstraction to the developer tools to the AI agents. Like, I think it's great to see, especially like Sylla jumping into development a few months ago and now coming out on top at a hackathon. Amazing to see. So congratulations all.
Thanks a lot, Lukas.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Thank you very much, Lukas, for coming. See you for xAlliance 1 year.
Oh yeah, got to do that again. I totally forgot that was going to happen, but the anniversary is coming up. I need to think about that. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about it then. Take care of yourself. See you.
Cheers, guys.
Bye. So, guys, I am very happy to have you with me today. Is everyone here? Yes. So let me just remove this. Give me a second. Oh, normally should be better now. Okay, so let's welcome and introduce our guest, last guest of today. So we have Joaquim, co-founder of Gopa Labs and many other products. Hello, Joaquim. What's up?
GM, how you all doing? Yeah, it was very interesting to listening to Lukas talking about the future xAlliance and what's been happening. And yeah, I'm very excited to discuss the hackathon. It was a lot of fun.
You will tell us everything. And we have also El Pulpo, co-founder of Octools and many other products. Hello, El
Not,
Pulpo.
not so many. Hello, thanks for having me.
A pleasure to have you. And we have a very new guest on the show. His first time on GM Web3. Sylla, how to pronounce?
Yeah, it's Sylla usually. Thanks for inviting me. Really glad to be here.
Same. It's a pleasure to have you guys. Sylla, maybe just to introduce what I think it's your first time as a builder. Before you were like a community member, or am I wrong?
More or less. Actually, since 2021, I've been creating NFT collection, NFT photography collection. I try to include real-world interaction. I've hidden a seed phrase in the metadata of my NFTs. I've also created a small platform like explore.mvx. That is an explorer to try to understand the on-chain data with powerful visualizations.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds very good. Is it your first time on a show?
Yeah, exactly. I've been in the viewers, but first time talking here.
Okay, so it's a pleasure. So let's talk about the AI Mega Wave Hackathon. Who wants to start? The goal is to tell us your story, why you decided to participate, what happened for you, what was the product that you built for this contest, and why do you think you won? So who wants to start? Yeah, Joaquim, the OG.
So I actually started the hackathon very late. I started it on the extension week because they added the week, and we were discussing it in the group with other devs, and we were discussing. You know, there was this whole thing about it's still actual of vibe coding, which I'm still not 100% aligned with. But that like someone had developed a game using AI and it was doing a lot of had a lot of users and a lot of exposure, etc. And it would be very fun if we did something similar on MultiversX. I haven't reached that because I didn't find a way to do that. But yeah, I just thought, is there a fun way that we can use account abstraction and AIs to interact, and that's how we got started. And then I'll talk more about the rest. I'll leave it to the others.
Yeah,
You
sorry.
didn't tell us about the project that you built and why did you think you won?
Okay, I thought we would do like why we started and then after what we did. So name is a project name, a bit like it's not an official name, but it's called NPC. Yeah, I know you're not a big fan, Jim. It got the name got decided literally 5 minutes before we submitted. So basically, what it does is that we have Gaupa login, which is live on DevNet, that allows to create account abstraction and wallet abstraction for users, and therefore also trigger. And that's where we do it a bit differently than what we've known in the past, is that it is permission based. So you give permissions to the abstract platform for each project, so what they can do to their specific wallet. And so what we created is an NPC inside the game that we might tease it today, but it was in collaboration with World of Shrooms. The game got created, and then we added the AI element inside, which is an NPC, so a non-playable character, which you can exchange, and you can try to negotiate discounts, etc., to buy items. And the beauty of it is that those NPCs have their own wallet. So when you interact with them and when they sell you something, they are actually sending you an NFT.
Bro, can you show us like you did in French?
Yes.
Like,
and this time I have the tab ready.
Because you know what, you introduced the product in French last Friday on GM Web3, and I found it very, very interesting, except for the name, of course. And so yeah, let's show it to our English-speaking audience today.
So let me just find the right tab. I have way too many tabs. There we go. You should see it now.
Yes, I can.
Indeed. So so it's a little game built in Unity that will get bigger with time. But that is the responsibility of World of Shrooms. But basically, there's an NPC here that I can interact with. And so basically, this uses an AI and different prompts already that explains what that machine is allowed to do, etc. And I'm going to try to buy a Coke can. And I'm going to try to negotiate a discount. We'll see. It doesn't always agree, and you need to be polite with it. But you see, since I've been polite to him, he's willing to give me 5% off, which brings it to 142.5 nickels, which is just a token on DevNet. So I'm going to confirm, and then if all goes well, a transaction should be taking place at any given second now. There you see the purchase went through, and here you can see my wallet abstracted wallet for this game and only this game sent out 143 nickels, and I just received the item. And then there's other benefits with this, is that, for example, here we have some creatures, and if I kill them and I take their coins, we just give it a few seconds for it to conclude, and you will see that I will receive those tokens directly in my wallet. So this is kind of like what we wanted to showcase with Gap login, is that like we can create very interactive, very on-chain activities without the user having to sign transactions all the time, but that are focused only on very specific functionalities. So here, for example, exchanging and gaining nickels to be able to buy items and have them in the inventory and be able to consume them, etc. So if I eat the chocolate, I think the chocolate, I regain a life. So yeah, we're quite proud of it, and I think it shows that it gives tools for builders to interact with blockchain without having to understand everything and having to use the SDK, etc. So for example, a game dev could come tomorrow and just use the GAPA login SDK with the NPC plugin and create his own AI NPCs in his game, and he wouldn't have to think about the how to create a wallet, how to store the seed phrase with the AI, etc. He doesn't need to think about all that. All that's taken care of. He can just build the game and focus on giving lore and different functionalities to his NPCs. I got more time here to present it than I got during demo day, I must say.
Yeah, because
demo day was 3 minutes, and it was like.
It's perfect because we have time now. We have nothing after, so we can take our time for all of you. Thank you very much, Joaquim, for this presentation and this. Yeah, when is it live?
No, it's live on DevNet, and we're working with whitelisted certain projects which we're working with that are starting to use the solution. And then we're going to open it to testers, so users can test it on those different projects with probably some rewards. as per usual. Welcome in Web3. Everything is incentivized. And then on the other side, there's also I know that they're on the Watershroom side, they're still working on this game. So I'm also very excited about that because I think it's actually quite a fun game, and we need more games on MultiversX.
Sure.
Definitely. So we'll come back to you, Joaquim, and feel free to speak whenever you want. Arno, do you have anything to ask to Joaquim, or we can move to the next?
No, you're good.
Okay. Let's go with Sylla.
Hey,
So Sylla, can you tell us about you a bit, because we don't know you as we know Joaquim and El Pulpo. So tell us about you and why you decided to participate in this hackathon. I think our friend Boo Boo is not completely external to this decision.
yeah, more or less. So basically, I've been involved in the MultiversX community since 2021. I started to create my own little project, mostly NFT collection or small ideas like that. I became involved with the Genovox community, where I am a staff member, and I'm building a lot on the backside with analytics to track the listing, the market activity, the stacking activity, the minting, everything that can be tracked with data. I'm trying to have a view on that. And more or less 1 year ago, as I've always been interested in web development and especially game development, I started to learn how to build games on Unity with C#, and it was really interesting. And I would say it was in October, I've built for eApes, I've built a banner generator where you can create a banner for your PFP or your background on Twitter with eApes element, with your NFT, with a background, with an element like that. And while building this with Bebe, I realized that I understood a little about development on the website interface and how to connect it to Unity. So I wanted to learn more about web development to integrate more easily my project with the dApps and with the website. And that's how I tried to learn about HTML and developing a website. It was in December, something like that. And in February, just before the hackathon, I discovered that there was a hackathon. So I thought, why not try it? We'll see what can happen. And I wanted to create something that would help developers to build more projects on Unity and MultiversX as a whole, because I tried different technology, different coding language, and each time there was a lot to learn, a lot of new documentation to find, a lot of resources to use, a lot of things to understand, and it was sometimes a hard process because I'm not a developer as a formation. And that's why I wanted to create a tool where you could find all the resources that's used on MultiversX for the developers. For example, the SDK, the Xoxno SDK to interact with Xoxno to find the listing price, the offers, everything that is on Xoxno. So I wanted to wrap everything in one website, to have the list of all the SDK, and then you could easily navigate inside and see the structure of the GitHub repository, see the files. You can check the inside of the files and all the endpoints. For example, if you go on the Xoxno SDK, you have the collection part where you have endpoint to find the listing of this collection, the offers, the floor price, and each time it's a different endpoint with different parameters. And this analyze on the MVX platform I've created will help you find all those endpoints, find the parameters, understand how to use it. And on top of that, you will have a chatbot on the right that is directly connected to the context of the repository. So you have all the files of the endpoint of the elements to help the chatbot understand. And you can directly communicate with it to tell how can I implement this, how should I do, what does this mean, what is this endpoint, etc. And the goal is basically to have a platform where all developers can find resources, can interact with it to better understand it, and then implement it in their projects.
Great.
Sorry. Yeah, great. Very, very, very great. Is it live now?
Yeah, it's live.
Can you show us something?
It's mvxlib.vercel.app.
Can you show up? Can you share your
Yeah,
screen?
yeah, I tried to share my screen.
Because I went to the website, and the UI and the UX are very cool. And you know what? What I felt when I visited the website is, oh, for God's sake, thank you, because there is no turquoise. I can't stand the website that steal or takes the graphics of MultiversX. So it's all black and white. It's very clean. It's very clear. The chatbot is very relevant. But I would like you to share and show us how it works, if you
Sure.
agree.
So we go on the analyzer page where there are all the SDKs that I've listed for now, and more will be added.
Oh, because I have it in dark mode. Can you show it in dark mode? It's way better, in my opinion.
Okay, I'll keep it to that mode. So you can easily filter by categories to find the resources you want. You can add several filters like that. And if we want to build, for example, on Xoxno, we type Xoxno, we have the Xoxno SDK, and then we click on Analyze. It will open the Xoxno SDK and clone the repo to find all the structure. Here we have the structure. We can see the different files. For example, we can go to the collection file, where we will see the different endpoints that are used. For example, get collection profile, get daily trending. And if we go at the bottom, here we have the endpoint explorer, where we have the list of all the endpoints. For example, collection search. It gives the line in the code where it is to better visualize. And at the bottom, you have also the endpoint you've selected and the parameters. So you can easily understand how to use it. And with the chatbot on the right, how to use Xoxno SDK in my website. Here, it will be linked to a context that you can see here with all the data about the repository, the content inside, tips, advice, many things that have been inspired by leaked prompt, for example, from Vercel. I've used, and we have the advice, how to use, what to do. It gives example of codes. We can use all that to directly put in our website. And what I want to go is toward a community-led library where every developers can submit components. It can be a UI component, for example. I'm thinking of committing the toggle for the team to have an easy toggle that developers can just download and put in their project. But it can also be the Xportal connection or any component that can be useful to others. You will create the component, you will put it in the library. I will review it, and later it will be community reviewed, peer reviewed, to be sure that there is no issue with the component, and then everyone can access it.
Awesome.
Let me remove the screen. Thank you very much, Sylla. Do you plan to develop something else later? Will you improve this one? And are you already in touch with, I don't know, project or product that would like to hire you? And what did the hackathon bring to you, except for the prize, of course?
So the current goals is to develop this on multiple sides. First, the analysis of the SDK or the project, the repository that are cloned. I plan to do something like Git ingest. I don't know if you know. It's a website where you just paste the repository, the GitHub repository, and it will give it LLM friendly with context and more info to use in LLM. And so I plan to do a deeper analysis where you just paste a GitHub URL, and it will give you which file to find, which file to use to have the endpoints, which are the endpoints, as a whole, a more detailed analysis and understanding of the repository. Then I want to improve the community-led library, where everyone can propose components. It will be peer-reviewed. Ideally, it would be on the chain to be sure that everything is fair and transparent. And then the later goal would be to have better integration in it. For example, as a model context protocol, so you can connect it to Cursor and easily ask a question to it, like I have this repository, help me how to use it, or help me understand what this endpoint do, or things like that. And you will directly chat inside Cursor, and it will connect to the MCP, connect to the repo, and give you help. So this is my main development goals that I'm planning to do over the coming months. As for the project I'm working, I haven't had much contacts with other projects since the result of the hackathon. I've had a lot of positive feedbacks, but no new client yet. But I'm working with, I have an older client that I decided before, that we exchanged before. So as of now, I have some contract. I'm working on expanding what I can do. I'm also giving help to some people if I can. For example, I've discussed with DB Crypto on how he could improve his website for images on MultiversX. So basically, I'm trying to help builders build. I'm trying to help a project build what they want, and let's all make this a better blockchain.
It's interesting you say this, Sylla, because last week I was in the hackathon jury, and I felt like I wasn't, the right profile from the hackathon team to be there. But what was very interesting is that even from my perspective, I understood that the majority of all the innovations and the projects presented were here to help engineers, mostly builders, to either develop, test, deploy, enhance their developer experience. And I just, when Lukas got out of this morning's GM Web3, I actually thought back on an idea that I had, a suggestion, and so I just texted him that we should have a call with all the hackathon winners and presenting to all the key builders in the MultiversX ecosystem, presenting the solutions one by one. So you could have the hackathon CTO in front of you, because some of those solutions you guys have built could be very helpful to make the current projects within the ecosystem smarter, more efficient, etc., etc. So I think this is completely something we should do, and it will also provide you with a potential market.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good idea.
Let's see how we can make this happen.
In addition to what you said, Arno, I think that one thing that we were, I won't say missing, but like there wasn't enough of, was developer tools, developer documentation, etc. Like we have the main MultiversX documentation, but there was very little extra. There was some community tools that were quite cool, but like a hackathon like that, I feel like has kind of like empowered builders to contribute. So while most likely none of the hackathon winners are going to be projects that are going to be used by consumers and have 1 million users tomorrow, which isn't really the goal of this hackathon. It will maybe allow the next builder to that comes to stay on MultiversX because he finds the documentation he needs. And for example, just take the example of Sylla. If there's one thing that I know when prompting AI when it comes to repositories, SDK, etc., is that it hallucinates endpoints all the time. So brute forcing it with the SDK directly in a very easy to use interface with all the endpoints being able to test them, etc., just like makes developing so much easier. So the most important step next is that those tools are maintained and showcased. I think it's very important that new builders have a place where they can find all those tools and just realize that maybe actually MultiversX is one of the easiest blockchains to build on.
Does anyone want to react to this?
I'm very happy that and I completely align with what Joaquim just said. We had a struggle within MultiversX, the amount of builders who are there and the community of builders. If you compare it to other ecosystems, some of the bigger ones, they have, because of the mass, they can share the burden of creating all those documentation in a better way. But now that there's AI, a few very talented people can change the life of all the other builders in the space. And I believe that what Sylla has done in this matter is very, very interesting. And business models can be found. Joaquim talked about we need to have people maintaining those. Well, you can build an incentive where, I don't know, you ask for projects who use it, I don't know, just liquid staked EGLD through you, and you get the staking rewards. There's so many models to build without having people just to pay upfront. They can just stake and they don't get the staking rewards anymore, but you get them. Those are subscription models that make a lot of sense and could incentivize you to maintain this.
I agree. I think we still are waiting for the Patreon of tomorrow when it comes to Web3, with all those small different ways to support creators, builders, contributors. So 100%. I think we just need someone to create that tool. But between AI agents and wallet abstraction, etc., and social payments, we're there. We just need someone to actually take the time and do it.
We need to take everything and to do one tool.
Exactly. And maybe that's where you come in.
That's a perfect transition to welcome El Pulpo. Can you explain maybe a bit who you are, why you decided to participate in this hackathon? You were there last week, so maybe you will say again, but it doesn't matter. Do it anyway, and explain what you build. If you want to show us, feel free to share your screen, and after we'll have a chat about that.
First, I should start with saying that in real life, I'm still learning. I'm doing courses about developing in Python, and I have a specialization in AI. So this is really a subject that I like also in real life, and that's why I'm really focused on that kind of things. I'm kind of monomaniac when it comes to this kind of passion, and so since I like developing stuff and specialization with AI, I want to use that possibility to make things on the blockchain, because I'm part of the community for a long time now, and I've seen many talented people doing stuff for others, and I wanted to be part of it and be an actor, not simply a community member. I want to be part of it and build things actually. So that's where when I started to work with Pulp for Octools. At that time, we were speaking in the Diggers server about it was kind of the meme season starting, and we were lack of tools. We didn't have the same tools at the blockchain to have the proper charts and the proper information about new tokens and stuff, and that's why we started building it. And then I just got drugged about it. Like, I want to do this all the time, and yeah, when when the AI agent wave came on all over X, I was really interested by it, and I could see that straight away there were AI agents doing on-chain transaction on Solana, on Ethereum, and of course we didn't have that. So I wanted to start working on it for MultiversX, and I had an agent working since December last year. It's Quack agent. I think a couple of you had some discussion with him already. And he was not really performing directly on-chain action at that time, but I gave him a Pulsar wallet, so he could distribute tokens on-chain anyway, but not straight. He was using Pulsar technology for it. And then I discovered ELISA. I saw straight away that it was a big thing because it's open sources and it's there is thousands of developers working on it, and you can update the things like 5 times a day. It's crazy how fast it's evolved, and since it's open source and many builders for every known blockchain want to have ELISA working on theirs. So it's kind of crazy. And I was like, okay, this is a big thing. I need to find a real reason to dig into it and start building with it. And then that's when MultiversX announced that they created a plugin for ELISA, and that was for me the perfect moment to dig this. So I started installing this in my environment and start working on it straight away. At that time, we could create a token and send the token to an address. That's it. But it was enough to start. So I wanted to work on that, and I've been doing this like 5 hours a day since then. And I created more actions, and then they announced the hackathon. And since I told you I'm studying on that side, I'm not working. I don't have an IRL job, but I have an IRL courses. So it takes me a lot of time. And the hackathon came straight when I was moving home and starting the alternance in a company. So it was the worst moment ever to do this hackathon, and I say, okay, I won't do it. But then I have some builders that say, you should do it because you are the one that's working the most on ELISA, and ELISA is a partner of this hackathon. You have to do it. So I asked, because I don't have, like all the competitors had a product to show, and I never did any product. What I do is upgrading the plugin of ELISA, and then other builders are using the plugin in their product, but I don't have a product to show. So one of the guy from the jury told me, you just create a simple AI agent showing every action that you can do with the plugin, and it will be enough as a participation. So that's what I did. I created Laika, and
Can you show us?
I can show you. But what I will show you, it's. You want to see some lines of codes or our GitHub repository?
No, but tell us. I mean, you from what we understand from your story, you're basically the father of like bettering ELISA for MultiversX and creating so much more possibilities with the framework. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
So how many, you told us that when you started working, you had 2 or 3 interactions, creating a token, sending token.
Yeah.
How many did you create, and how many are there now?
Now there is. First, I upgraded the 2 that were already existing. At the beginning, to send the token, you needed to know the exact identifier, and you had to give the address of the receiver. Now you can just say, I want to send some Quack to Arno, and it works. I will show
so you improved the existing
Yeah.
existing framework and the existing.
Let me show you my screen. It will be a repository, but anyway, share screen.
If you explain us
Yeah.
the audience what we're looking at with simple words,
I will show you.
it's great.
Can you see this?
Yes.
Yes.
So this is the official repository of MultiversX, and everything I've done for the hackathon has been merged in this. So as I said, any builders that using this plugin will have the last action possible. So in here you can see the actions. So you have the create token action. So you can ask an agent to create a token. All you have to say is the name of the token, the ticker, and the amount you want to create, and he will do everything for you on chain. Then you have the transfer action here, and as I said, I changed this to have the possibility to just ask to send the ticker is enough, and a hero tag is enough as well. What I did, the swap, someone else did the swap. I don't know. It was not part of the plugin when it started, and it was the third action possible, but I don't know exactly who did that. What I did is all the others. So receive EGLD, you can say to the agent that you want to send him some EGLD, for example, to create a pool after you created a token, and he will provide you with the export QR code, so you can just scan it and it will send straight away the EGLD. I have done two actions, which is get address and check wallet. This is not really an on-chain action, but at least you can ask the agent what is his wallet and what you have in his wallet, and he will provide you all the list of tokens and balances, so you have you know what you have. I have created this one. This is the first one I did, create liquidity pool, and that's the one that took me the most time.
I can imagine.
when you ask the agent to create a pool, you just say it. I want to create a pool with Quack. You don't Quack or anything HTM. You don't say the identifier. You just say I want a pool HTM with let's say Hush, 10,000 of each, and that's it. You don't have to say anything else, and you will create the pair on XChange, and then you will do. I don't know if any of you already created a token, a pool. You know that you have to click and then wait and then click again and then wait and then click again until the end. You have like 7 on-chain transaction until you can enable the swap of your pool. And he will do exactly all this. The 7 transaction on-chain will be done one by one, and they all depend on each other. And at the end, he will tell you that now you can use your pool to swap. So you go to XChange, or you can just ask him to swap, because there is an action to swap as well. And then the last thing I've done, there is one that is not here. I wanted to try the warp system. So I created a simple action like, okay, it's my birthday, create me a warp birthday. And it will create a warp to send you EGLD to your wallet, and then you can just share this funny QR code to your friends. I don't have to tell you what warp are. I believe you know already. And then I have these 2 action that I've done for Atom, and I will focus on that from now on, because I want to be able to manage every position you have on Atom through the agent. So I presented the lend EGLD on the hackathon. So you will just I want to lend 5 EGLD, and he will do it for you. And now I added this one. This is the last one I've done. Add collateral. So he will put the EGLD that you just lend on Atom. He will put them on the collateral. And next one will be borrow, and then claim rewards from the boosters and stuff like that. So this is the next action I will work on. And yeah, this is mainly the action that sorry, I don't have a really nice interface to show you. It's just the repository.
It's clear. It's great. Thanks a lot, Pulpo.
I have a quick question because you mentioned the Telegram chatbot, and I think I remember it when you showed being able to send tokens, right? As you
Yeah.
said, you could just say send Arno, etc. How does the AI create a wallet for you? Does it store it like on the Telegram safe storage?
No, you
Or-
don't. You don't create since for now the agent don't create a wallet. You have to do
Okay.
your creation yourself, and then you put the secret key in the environment file, which no one has access, and just you have access to it. This is also in my to-do list, and Arno, I don't know if you remember, we talked about that in Paris. I want to have the possibility to ask your agent to create a wallet for you, and he will be the only one knowing the secret key, because there is a possibility for AI agent called TEE. And this is like, for example, when you discuss with the agent, he will remember the conversation you have, etc., etc., etc. He have a database, and you have access to this database. That's how I use, for example, he will give every people with who he speak to, he will put a code in this database, and I'm using that code. So for example, if you ask my agent to create a token, he won't allow you, because he will check the code of your name that he have in his database, and he will realize that it's not my code, it's yours. So he won't allow you to do it.
But
That's-
and we'll chat about it later. But I actually think that Garpa login might be a very
Yeah,
good
yeah, we need to
use
talk about that
use case
definitely.
for that.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway,
But I wanted
I'm
to
not
say
going to chill my product now, but
what,
I
what
think
I
that actually
wanted to
solves
say
the
that
problem.
what I wanted to say is that you can have a second database that only the agent can have access to and no one else, and in that you can store the secret key. So you can ask the agent to create a key, and so on and so on. But it's for the
Yeah.
future.
I'll send you a DM.
Yeah,
The synergy between you guys, and once you're able to package this agent, it's insane. It's just insane, because then you abstract all the complexity of, even the complexity of DeFi, for example, the complexity of using a product like Hatom, and you can bake this into a safe environment. You can even just not have a product and have this running directly from your Telegram.
Yeah.
And manage your positions, have updates on your positions.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah. So baking it into a sexy product could be good, but already having this in your pocket, in your Telegram.
This is when you start digging the possibility of AI agent, you understand that anything is possible, and especially since it's evolved so fast, and we are speaking between us, and because we are on MultiversX, but imagine how fast it is on other chain when they have hundreds of developers working on the same product. It's crazy. It's really crazy. You can do, like you said, managing your portfolio just with an agent on your pocket. It's possible. I mean,
Yeah. And is it possible to get inspired from what other developer ecosystems in this particular framework are building on other chains, and transpose in a way?
yeah, it's definitely possible. The only thing is that we are built differently. The transactions are made differently on MultiversX, so we have to adapt everything. There is no way to clone something from another chain and put it on ours. It's not possible. But of course, we can have some inspiration.
Yes.
That's how it works.
Brilliant. Super exciting. I mean,
Yeah.
it's hard to imagine in 1 year from now how we will be interacting with all the products we have around us. But it's exactly the same when we started transferring paper digitally to computers. Artificial intelligence is the same type of shift. You're completely changing the way you interact with the information.
And we are only scratching the surface.
Yes.
Thank you very much, guys. I would like to give the final word to Andrei, who actually stayed. Yeah. I took you back
Yeah,
to the show.
of course I stayed.
Because
Hello.
I see that you watched the whole space, the whole show. Thank you very much. And I saw you were listening to our guest. So I would like to give you the final word to these developers, builders that chose MultiversX to build their products. So would you like to say a word to them before we close the show?
Well, I always like to end with it's time to build, and developers are real MVPs, and they're the reason why we're here, and they're the reason why the space will succeed and MultiversX will succeed. So yeah, great. I'm very honored to be in the presence of such great developers and such great projects, and you guys are the main reason why we're here. So keep on building, and yeah.
Thank you very much, Andrei. It was a pleasure to have you today. Same, of course, for you guys, El Pulpo, Joaquim, Sylla. You know what? This is why I and Arno are taking our time every Wednesday in the morning to give you the mic and to create some interesting and objective content about MultiversX and beyond some conflict that we may have. All we want to do, all we want is the success of MultiversX. So let's fucking go. Guys, I wish you a very good day. All the best for your projects. And Arno, see you next Wednesday for new GM Web3. Do I say what will happen or not, Arno? Yeah? Okay, so we will have an interview, 1 hour and a half with Adam Bates.
Ooh.
So, yeah. He came a few months ago on the show telling us his vision, his strategy for MultiversX. After 6 months, he's on board. He will come to tell us about his vision today about MultiversX with the US ambition, with the AI strategy, and with all the changes in geopolitical and economical context that we have. And of course, we'll speak about marketing and communication of MultiversX because it's his job. So see you next Wednesday at 9 a.m. UTC, like always, for an unfiltered interview with Adam Bates. And yeah, take care of yourself and see you soon.